As you can see from the pictures, it's just pretty much impossible. It is out of control. It's out of control completely. It's 100% out of control. I got Holmes. This is Kerry in the chopper. I got Holmes.
Not just the house, it's the beauty of this whole place.
Somebody made a mistake, but it's quite obvious that it was very risky.
People ask me, would you do this again? Well, if I knew this was going to happen, of course not.
Now, an Eyewitness News 4 special presentation. Los Alamos Disaster. Burning Memories.
Hello, I'm Tom Joles.
And I'm Carla Aragon. What do we do now? A question hundreds, perhaps thousands of New Mexicans are still asking themselves.
Just look around. The Cerro Grande Fire left an indelible mark on Los Alamos. It scorched nearly 50,000 acres, turning this community, the birthplace of the atomic bomb, into a virtual war zone.
It all started on May 4th, a 300-acre prescribed burn set in the Bandelier National Monument.
A controlled burn, but nearly a week later it was anything but. A demon, out of control. New Mexico's largest forest fire ever.
For the next hour, we look back at the 6 days that changed Los Alamos. Our coverage begins on Wednesday, May 10th at 1:15 in the afternoon.
This is an Eyewitness News 4 special report.
Hello, I'm Tom Joles. The winds have picked up near Los Alamos, and that is bad news for the people fighting fires up there and also people living in Los Alamos. We are told that more of the city is now being evacuated. Our Northern Bureau Chief, Peter Olson, is on the phone now. Peter.
The Chief Information Officer on the fire, Jim Paxson, came rushing up, and they determined that they're going to start to evacuate the western and the northern communities. But in the matter of 10 minutes, the fire basically exploded and caused great concern for the firefighters here.
All right, stay right where you are, Peter. We want to show the folks at home a shot of our Paseo cam. This is in Albuquerque, looking to the north. We mentioned smoke. There is a lot of smoke. We want to go live again to Kerry Moots. Kerry, I understand you have new information from Chopper 4.
The slurry bombers are calling it quits. They're leaving the area. They're grounding the slurry bombers at this point, and they're going to let it burn. There's nothing they can do at this point.
Let's go to Macalo Medina now. Mac, anything new you can tell us?
The people are pouring outside of Main Hill Road. It's one of the evacuation routes. It's a bumper-to-bumper traffic. People here, honestly, very, very frightened. The smoke getting thicker and ash now continuing to fall in the city.
An evacuation was made official for the entire community of the city of Los Alamos. That's 11,000 people.
The flames from look at that. That is a big situation. That is a big, bad fire right now burning near Los Alamos. The fire is burning so hot that it's burning at the very top of the trees. There you can see some of the flames. You can see the trees, the ponderosa pines there, just getting cooked. Kerry, you've covered a lot of fires. This is a hot one, isn't it?
There's no doubt about that, Todd. I can't even pull out wide enough now to encompass the whole thing. It is just enormous. At this point yesterday when we were up here, you could clearly see the mountains there in the background. Now it's just been obliterated by the smoke. giving you an idea how big this fire has grown to. Right now, it's just everywhere. Everywhere I zoom in, you can pretty much pick up flames burning.
Just joining us, the entire city of Los Alamos is being told to evacuate because of the Cerro Grande Fire. It is threatening the town. People should know what to do. Get out of Los Alamos. We understand there's been another evacuation in Los Alamos, and this is a big one. Mac, is it true they're evacuating the hospital there?
Yeah, they've evacuated most of the patients in the hospital. They're trying to get the rest out right now.
Live pinpoint Doppler Max picking up the smoke plume right now. This is not rain you're seeing on the radar. The smoke is so dense that it's reflecting the radar signal back as if it was rainfall.
We want to announce that we are right now officially opening our Eyewitness News 4 fire evacuation hotline.
You can see ashes right now falling on the town for the last hour or so, and the wind's moving the cloud of smoke incredibly fast. Within the last 10 minutes, I've seen a big chunk of the cloud move from one side of the town to the other, so that gives you an idea just how fast these winds are blowing.
This is the ski area. These trees that are burning, this is the entire area that's on the actual ski slopes. So the ski area is just being wiped out at this point. It just jumped the ridge here. It's just cranking down this hill, engulfing everything in its way. I can't believe it. I've never seen a forest fire burning so quickly, and I've shot a lot of them.
This is not an issue of manpower. All the people in the world wouldn't make a difference on the situation that does exist. This is a fire situation. The problem with the Los Alamos fire is that Los Alamos is in the path of the fire.
Here you see live pictures of this fire, and it is just a big one.
There's a house on the western side of Los Alamos going up. The orange flames, the blackness you see, that's someone's house. That is where someone lived, and that is gone now.
It's just exploding. It literally looks like an explosion, the way this fire is burning at this point.
So there you get it. Since this fire started days and days ago, what now looks to be a pretty disastrous decision by the National Park Service to go ahead with a prescribed burn that is now blown beyond all imagining into a fire that's licking at the outskirts of Los Alamos.
It was so close on Sunday night that the slurry bombers were going right over our house, and it was so close you could see their faces. So it's actually looking even worse right now.
We just feel this is a disaster of such a magnitude that KOB wants to help. KOB is going to put in $25,000 to the Red Cross.
I counted at least 50, 100 homes that could potentially burn that were right in the path. And now I can't see them at all because it's just engulfed in smoke throughout this whole area now.
This fire is headed straight into town, already has touched town, and it's heading into the heart of town. The flames came over the ridge. We saw a ripple of flames come over the ridge. It's burning in there.
You can see the black smoke just billowing out of the flames. There's a lot of stuff burning up down there. You're seeing trees mixed in with glowing embers of what were homes in there just about an hour or so ago. They're burning wherever they want to go. The flames have no master.
Because the fire is licking along the perimeter of lab territory there. The lab officials freely acknowledge that there are high explosives very close to the line of this forest fire.
We have received almost 1,000 phone calls, a lot of people wanting to help.
This is just a terrible situation that at present is probably going to get a lot worse. It's just a terrible, terrible situation.
Yesterday, it was 3,700 acres. We don't have any idea how big this fire is right now. We can only assume and guess that it has doubled in size.
Certainly Los Alamos, a city under siege tonight. The enemy actually inside the city, burning some homes on the west side.
President Clinton has declared the Los Alamos area a disaster area.
We saw some houses, 5 in a row, burning in flames. We heard popping. It's bad in there. And I saw on maybe a half dozen streets, 25 houses that were burned.
This is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this happen in the Los Alamos area.
It is a ghost town. Everybody is out, and the evacuation, it was complete and controlled chaos.
And thank you, Albuquerque. You're fantastic. I mean, it's true love.
Unbelievable, the amount of people driving down here, and it is just incredible.
We've seen flames reach up above those trees. Now you can see a steady orange glow. It is burning, and it shows no sign of letting up whatsoever.
I think you can imagine that anyone whose home is anywhere in Los Alamos is feeling very anxious right now. hoping that that the firefighters will be able to be very successful with the structures. The prescribed fire was intended to avoid just a situation like this. The forests up here have been primed for years and getting worse and worse. And each of the many prescribed fires that we've done at Bandelier have been with the intention of cutting down this whole fire hazard.
In the northern part of Los Alamos, we're seeing an orange glow. When the sun goes down, it's almost like a road map of what's burning because there's just orange glows all the way around. If a house goes and it appears it's not able to be saved, they let it go. And there are houses burning down as we speak tonight.
Basically all hell just broke loose in Los Alamos. Just to see it going up in smoke and I'm down here not being able to do anything about it kills me.
Live, local, late breaking. This is Eyewitness News 4 at 10.
A fire burning out of control. It started as a controlled burn last Friday. Now a city is under fire. Los Alamos is burning.
Before today, the concern was all of those trees out there. Now it's the houses, I should say, that are burning. Good evening, I'm Tom Joles, along with Carla Aragon.
Continuing live coverage tonight of Los Alamos under siege.
This is the scene live in Los Alamos as wildfires are now devouring houses by the dozen. Many people have no idea right now if the homes they evacuated are still standing at all.
Nobody knows at this point exactly how many houses are gone. At least 100 is the estimate we're hearing now, maybe more. Many more could go in the hours ahead.
That is an absolute reminder that these spots of flames that we've been looking at all day and all of this smoke are literally people's lives, homes, and businesses going up in flames.
There is a lot of disbelief at this hour and also a lot of fear. 11,000 residents of Los Alamos now worry they may own nothing more than the clothes on their back and whatever they could fit into their car. Oh. These may be the only possessions Walter and Teresa Pickett have left. A pickup full of irreplaceable family photos, some dating back to the Civil War.
And on the way down, I thought, well, we came here 50 years ago with nothing, and we're leaving with nothing. So that's it. You know, so we'll just start over. We're only 70.
This is pretty scary thing in the sense that it shows how vulnerable you are to natural disasters.
Among the homeless, lots of pets. This cat and lizard rescued by neighbors. This family and their dogs rescued by a Good Samaritan offering her Abiquiu home as shelter.
I just feel so bad about what's happening and mostly about the animals, so I thought it would be something. I could do something.
Before, when we talked to you, you had been out on the fire line stomping out fires in people's yards, and it is now more apparent than ever that these are people's lives going up in smoke.
Well, that's exactly right, John, and a lot of homes have been lost, and talking about the area earlier, we were stomping out fires in yards. Homes now are gone in those areas, so this is the worst imaginable situation actually becoming reality here. Bad news, and how much worse can it get? Well, who would have dreamed at 12 o'clock today that this would be happening 10 hours later?
The forecasts were out this morning. The wind was going to be up. The fires were burning, but I don't think anyone here ever expected anything like this.
11,000 residents fleeing, some in fear. They use this evacuation route to get out and get out fast. 1:15, time to get out. People packed tight. Grab what they could, pets, pictures, the irreplaceable.
What I'm just taking clothes, pictures, photo albums, stuff like that. Everything else can be replaced.
Half of the town was on the way out by 2 p.m.
Got word about 2:15. Raced up here as quick as I can to get my animal stuff out.
By 3:30, this evacuation route became an escape route. 11,000 clearing out as fast as they could. Traffic bumper to bumper, moving slow. Worried residents wondering what they would come back to.
I'll put that in the Lord's hands.
First, it was evacuations from Los Alamos. We now understand there are other areas evacuating.
You can smell the smoke. It's pretty heavy. I do believe it's gonna reach our area. So we're not gonna take any chances. So we're gonna go ahead and voluntarily, exit the area.
The whole western side of Espanola is being asked to evacuate on a volunteer basis.
Everything about that town, to hear that it's gone in a matter of hours, it's just There's no word for it.
It is now Thursday morning, May 11th, and these fires continue.
White Rock is now being evacuated as we speak. They want everybody to pack up and move out of here. We are talking simply dense, thick, suffocating smoke that is a threat to engulf White Rock very soon.
All right, so once again, White Rock now being evacuated. So we have Los Alamos, we've got White Rock being evacuated, we have Espanola under a voluntary evacuation, we have Santa Clara.
This community is really pulling together. The volunteers have been tremendous. At every shelter we have gone to, it's really trying, and I think it's really testing their faith.
This is Highway 4, and you can see there is just a stream of lights, headlights, that are coming down from the White Rock area.
This is the evacuation of White Rock. Cars coming down the hill by the hundreds, by the thousands at this point.
Officers went door to door knocking to let people know that the fire was getting closer to this town and that a voluntary evacuation was underway. This fire has turned northern New Mexico upside down.
We were called and told that we needed to leave.
So just an incredible display of generosity by those employees and by residents of Santa Fe, and we've seen that all night.
The road has been shut down. You will not get back into White Rock.
There are some hard decisions to make about what really are the treasures in our life.
We don't know how many houses are damaged. We don't know how many houses are lost.
Sunrise Thursday morning would allow us to see what we didn't want to see. The devastation would be everywhere, entire neighborhoods ravaged.
And this new day would bring a new threat. The Los Alamos National Lab, right in the fire's path.
An enemy with a mind of its own, heading for the nation's top secrets and potentially dangerous nuclear material.
Burning memories of Thursday and beyond, next.
I got homes. This is Kerry in the chopper. I got homes. You're seeing that for the first time, as I am too. That looks like a beautiful home that's just totally engulfed. The roof is burning off as we watch right now. This is all live.
We do acknowledge that if you're seeing this for the first time and that is your property, that this has got to be devastating to you.
And it's not believable. You can't believe it happened, and it's devastating to watch all those houses in Los Alamos be burned. When it happens in your neighborhood, it's incomprehensible.
Really just a very difficult day. Yesterday was such a terrible day for these folks, and today isn't looking any better. The winds are picking up, as I think you can probably tell out here, and just a lot of concern about what's going to happen as this day goes along.
The fire has spread. The flames are really not leaving a lot behind right now. You may be able to get more of a feel for how random the problem is and how much more difficult it makes it to fight.
It's unbelievable. It's just completely unbelievable.
This house is just starting to burn right now, and it's pretty close to a number of other houses right along that road. And I anticipate, unless somebody's able to get in here and dump a lot of water on it quickly, those houses along Arizona Road here are going to slowly start burning. These two houses just exploded here within the last 2 minutes. Just exploded. The flames are leaping up hundreds of feet. It's just a mess. The wind is really kicking things up.
That as the winds pick up, we're going to see more explosions like the one you're showing us now.
Yeah, it's just like it's a firestorm, Steve. Literally a firestorm. It's just so completely out of control. You know, when Mother Nature flexes her muscle, there's not much you can do. And this is a perfect example of nature just taking its course and burning things up, and man can't control it.
They had to rescue one of the firefighters, and he was literally surrounded by fire. And when they got in to rescue him, The fire came up like a wall, almost like a giant tidal wave over their head, and they just had to grab him and pull him into the ambulance.
There were some reports of water pressure problems because of the outage. At one point, they were having great difficulty getting much pressure, and so they were pretty much fighting the fire manually.
This is the random way this fire has been burning. It just picks a house out, burns it, and leaves the other ones next to it alone. It didn't happen this way in all the areas, but throughout the city, it seems like it was a random, just hit and miss type thing in a lot of situations.
This has been a tragedy for this community, but this community helped us win the Cold War, and we're going to stand very much behind them.
Somebody made a mistake, and obviously we have to find out who.
Dealing with that human tragedy is what we are concentrating on. We hope to figure out the extent of the damage, the extent of the property damage. We will do all we can at the federal level to make these people whole and to see to it that the rebuilding is done quickly.
I believe somebody is responsible, and as just my ability to draw conclusions from facts, I would think that the person in charge of the Park Service here that authorized this is most responsible for this.
The fire getting so hot that at times reducing some cars to nothing but the frame. Lots of homes in and around the high school area reduced to nothing but rubble. Lots of valuables lost here. Only thing standing in some homes are just the chimneys themselves. Even appliances like this refrigerator can still be seen on fire.
We were 20% contained yesterday. Today we're 0% contained. So we're starting over.
Imagine being a firefighter, standing here, wanting to get in there and do something, but not being able to because of the force of this fire. There are crews out there that are turning shovels and trying to get water on this, also relying on some assault today from the air.
There's really not much the folks out here can do because the winds are so ferocious. And right now, firefighters say they just kind of have to stand by, sit back and watch and make sure no lives are lost.
The fire is nowhere near out, isn't even contained at this point. The state police informed us a short time ago that the people living in the mountains above Abiquiu were the most recent to be told to evacuate.
Right now, there are approximately 100 homes that have burned down. Everything that can be done is being done, and yet, again, we may just be seeing the beginning of what is a real catastrophe.
The fire is continuing to blaze. The residents have been evacuated. We have taken steps to protect our lab and the assets there. And the most important, I just want to give my sympathies to the people who have lost their homes.
See these guys working so hard to save our homes and keep us safe, etc., and they don't even take a break. We hand them a peanut butter jelly sandwich and a bottle of water, and they just keep on at it, and we are just so inspired by them.
Here you see one where all that's left is one wall, and it's burned to the foundation. This is one home, obviously. The only thing left is a chimney. So they're actually getting out and walking the ground and taking a look at these skeletons of trees.
The stone fireplace, the only thing that did not burn. We've been looking at a lot of foundations, a lot of concrete driveways that are still there. But look at this. This whole neighborhood looks like it was completely wiped out by the fire.
Well, I think clearly the damage needs to be compensated for. There's no doubt about that.
The latest update is it is still headed in a northeast direction, kind of toward Barranca Mesa. They say it has crossed Rendita Road. These winds certainly are not helping.
All I can really tell you is, what we're feeling right now, which are incredibly strong winds. In fact, some of the strongest that we've experienced so far since we've been up here. The gusts are so strong that it's really hard to walk against them.
When they're dropping water, the wind is just howling. It's sort of the wicked wind of the west. It's just brutal. And I noticed when I was driving up just 20 minutes ago, the Espanola Valley, just a blanket of smoke in the Espanola Valley. We are told by the lab no buildings are being compromised by this fire. The county is telling us that it is trees and shrubs and underbrush burning, and it is not buildings.
Because no laboratory structure has been breached by the fire, there's no evidence of data of any release of hazardous or radioactive material at this point in time.
This is lab property that's been burning now for a good 90 minutes, just like this. That kind of really awful looking brown orangey smoke is something we've seen pretty steadily now for about 90 minutes.
There is new reason to be concerned about the fires burning in Los Alamos. This is a live picture of a reason to be concerned. This is a fire burning to the south of Los Alamos, and our sources are telling us that this is on lab property.
Police right now, if you just heard that, are blaring their sirens and telling people to leave immediately, right now.
There are still a lot of people in the White Rock area. Now they are being asked to leave immediately.
Sky turning black. You also get this sort of eerie orange-pink color, but it's just a very eerie sight. The canyon completely dark as we came up here.
It's really turned into an enormous event, the generosity that's just been overflowing here non-stop.
We filled 12 trucks up, including a 48-footer that was sent up last night.
Most of this area back behind us is pretty much leveled. It's devastated. Most of the homes aren't standing anymore. There's only a few that are.
Just how unpredictable is this fire? Early this morning, Chief Shannon says they saw this home completely engulfed in flames. They managed to put water and save the 3 homes next to it on Sandia Drive, but within 4 hours the wind shifted, and now it appears those 3 homes that were once saved are now a partial or complete loss.
The Emergency Operations Center at Tech Area 49 on the lab is being evacuated. We're not quite sure at this point where folks are moving.
There is only one gas station that is open, and the Stein family is keeping it open at the request of emergency workers so they can fill up and maybe even get a sandwich. But they are also staying open for another reason. You see, they left something behind in their house. When the Stein family evacuated earlier this week, they thought they'd be right back. But their neighborhood in Los Alamos at Sandia and 47th is full of holes. And they soon realized the one thing they left behind was the one thing they couldn't lose. So last night, their son caught a ride with county emergency workers back home into the fire. A rescue mission for Bo.
Bam Bam got the dog and we were out of there.
We didn't know if he was dead or alive, and I was afraid he'd die of smoke inhalation, even if our house didn't catch on fire.
They think their house is okay for now. Knowing their pet of 13 years is okay makes the waiting a lot easier.
Down the way, down the canyon is White Rock. That's where the smoke and that's where the fire is headed for about the last hour and 15 minutes, pushed by these ferocious winds.
Live, local, late breaking. This is Eyewitness News 4 at 6.
The winds are howling, the fires are burning into Mexico.
When the residents of Los Alamos were evacuated yesterday, many of them crossed fingers, said prayers, hoping their homes would be okay. Unfortunately, we got a dose of reality behind the police lines today, and not everyone's prayers were answered. The trail of destruction is second to none. When the atomic bomb was first invented here in the 40s, scientists knew they were building a weapon of mass destruction. This is Mother Nature's version.
Most of this area back behind us is pretty much leveled. It's devastated. Most of the homes aren't standing anymore. There's only a few that are.
There is no clear path of destruction here. In some areas, homes like this one reduced to ashes, while next door, the neighbor's home is completely untouched. These Albuquerque firefighters are among the hundreds called in to help prevent further damage. They have a game plan.
Basically what we're doing is we're hitting structures and running and putting them out as fast as we can and moving on to the next.
Among the crowd here at the airport, also some Los Alamos Fire Department firefighters. Now, we just spoke with the 2 of them. They are so tired. It is almost impossible to describe for you how tired they have been. They're talking about their department as a whole, though. They say almost every single firefighter with the Los Alamos Fire Department has been working now. That's about 100 firefighters. They have been working for 5 days straight.
I literally fought fire for hours. First brush fires, then I got switched to the structures protection crew.
Have you ever been that tired?
Honestly, no.
It's challenging just standing up here. When these gusts come, it really takes all of your strength to stand still so you don't fall over to one side.
This is video that we've seen in neighborhoods where one house looks like it's been firebombed, the next house is standing intact. Simply a matter of which house an ember fell on, which house ignited last night.
All along we've been talking about approximately 100 houses destroyed by fire. The city of Los Alamos, county of Los Alamos are upping that number now to 260. 260.
This is near the tech areas over on the south side of Los Alamos. There was 3 huge explosions Looked like possibly maybe an electrical type explosion.
There it goes again.
I don't know what the heck's happening down there, but something's exploding. Maybe transformers or some type of shelters or propane tanks or something, but it's just glowing, lighting up. You're seeing it, obviously, but something's exploding down there on lab property. I don't know what it is.
These winds are just terrible. And in fact, just a moment ago, a huge gust came up and just pushed me a little bit. I mean, it is almost blowing people over here right now. You can see the orange glow right now over in that area out here. Boy, this is just bad.
Technical Area 18, which handles some nuclear materials, was singed by the fire.
We've counted at least 10 more of those large white explosions, which I believe are transformers on telephone poles. It's all throughout this dark lab area, just popping almost like huge flash bulbs, just this bright white light.
Live, local, late breaking. This is Eyewitness News 4 at 10.
As you can see, the fire in Los Alamos is still burning tonight, but some good news, the situation has improved since last night.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carla Aragon.
And I'm Tom Jules. The Cerro Grande Fire has burned an estimated 18 to 20,000 acres so far, but it is not moving like it was 24 hours ago, and it's not destroying the houses it was either.
These are pictures that were taken from Chopper 4 earlier this evening, and you can see that the fire is mostly a grass fire right now. This picture, of course, shows some of the trees that are burning.
As for the streets, the specific streets which have suffered most of the damage, most of them in the western area of Los Alamos, Arizona is one street. Also Alabama, Ridgeway, which was hit extremely hard, 48th Street, Sandia, and Trinity. And in fact, an Eyewitness News 4 crew was over on those streets about an hour and a half ago to see what was happening, and here are the pictures that we shot over there. A lot of cleanup going on with firefighters. No real new structure fires to put out tonight, though. There were some burning areas in the grass and in the weeds. This is video from the Los Alamos National Lab shot late this afternoon along Pajarito Road. This is lab property, and this shows you just how far the fire extends. It extends miles along lab property, the smoke hanging like a haze.
But these firefighters have been working around the clock, doing non-stop, back-breaking, grueling work. And by the time they get off the front lines and come here to the staging area to take a break, you can tell that battling this blaze is definitely taking its toll. As the sun sets on the 5th day of this raging Cerro Grande fire, firefighters on the front lines are getting truly exhausted.
The crew that I've been with has been in District 4, where most of the houses have been burning, and we've been out. Basically, we got like 3 hours of sleep.
Los Alamos firefighters have battled to save their neighbors' homes, but watched too many burn to the ground.
I think whenever everybody starts to come back, that's when you're going to realize that, you know, that's when the people that you know and the friends that you have that lost homes, that's going to hit home.
One development as far as the start of the controlled burn that happened last week that led to this disaster in Los Alamos, the superintendent of Bandelier National Monument, Roy Weaver, has now been placed on paid administrative leave, and there will be an investigation into why there was a controlled burn last week. Weaver, for his part, is standing by his decision. He says he made his decision to start the burn based on good information that he had and the best information that he had at the time the decision was made.
Now family members are wondering what happens tomorrow.
Compared to the high gusts this afternoon, which I estimate over 50 miles per hour, things are more down to the 40 mile per hour range. This isn't great, but it certainly is an improvement.
Now, as the winds continue to blow, we're seeing some flare-ups and some hot spots, and we know that there are some firefighters in there who are trying to do their best to get after this thing, but it is stubborn for sure.
It's really nasty up there. You're just driving down a street and you'll see nothing but homes and everything looks very normal, and then all of a sudden you just come to this area and there's nothing but foundations left. It's very depressing.
They seem willing to keep at this for as long as it takes. They plan to win here. They're just not sure how long it's going to take for this battle to continue.
There are a couple of things that will happen this morning that could have great impact on everyone affected by the fire. The first is that they will take a tour of the area in Los Alamos, the residential areas and otherwise that have been affected by the fire. We are told it's 260 dwellings that were destroyed in this blaze.
And they are still not out of the woods, so to speak, there in the Los Alamos area, but as we've mentioned several times, things do look better for them getting a little bit of control on the fire today.
That's our life in Los Alamos. And it's going away. It's going up in smoke.
It's just unimaginable to contemplate the fact that
your total life can be disrupted in just a matter of a few days.
The lab is closed for a fifth unprecedented day at a cost of $3.5 million.
We have been informed that choppers and airplanes will deploy today, and with the way the winds are moving, it seems like they will have a good opportunity to try and get out and knock down some of those hot spots.
You can get a pretty good idea of how widespread some of these fires were. 110 homes destroyed, 150 homes damaged. It is very unclear by what criteria the damaged label would fit.
One of the hardest hit areas was this street. It's Arizona Avenue, the top of the hill. The homes there are gone, completely destroyed. Ashes, piles of ashes and rubble is what we saw. All that stands are these rows of chimneys. It was an incredible sight to see. No doubt residents will be coming back to those neighborhoods within the next few days and just be overwhelmed by the amount of damage there. Smoke is what's been invading White Rock. We are told, though, that the fire is headed that way. The wind's apparently supposed to blow toward White Rock.
You know, there still is the fire threat. That has to be stressed.
I'm not a lawyer. I don't do liability. But I do think there's a thing called responsibility.
Because I believe that the National Park Service could have prevented this. This is an avoidable situation. I was going to say the secretary and all the folks there, I mean, it really sounded like the federal government knows they're on the hook for this.
Our focus now is going to have to turn to the people that have been displaced from their homes, and how are we going to be able to take care of those people and deal with them.
The overall status of the firefighting effort is these guys and gals are very tired. They're doing everything they can do, and they're saving a bunch of folks' homes. They got in there and they got after it. They're really kicking some butt out there.
This is brand new video that you're looking at. We are seeing this for the very first time. It gives you yet another idea of the magnitude, the force of this fire that started 8 days ago but really grew out of control on Sunday.
This is the list people have been waiting for. 191 homes completely destroyed.
It may be the first time many people hear this news. Please go ahead.
All right, first we'll start with the North community on 35th Street. The first 5 homes there are 2539 35th Street, 2543 35th Street.
We had heard and been reporting that residents would be going back in tomorrow. They will not be going back in. It is not safe. There are utility issues. There are fire threat issues. And the governor says that people will not be going back in.
Well, we know at this point that the lab sustained some terrific fire damage.
And we can't forget about the children. And these kids from Truman Middle School did not forget about the kids, because so many children in White Rock and Los Alamos, well, Los Alamos especially, those families from the 191 homes destroyed, they are without everything they ever owned, and that includes toys and books, things that children really do need. And once those items get to them, perhaps they can get back to being children. If you are looking for an animal, call the Santa Fe Animal Shelter. They are making rescue missions up there for pets that had to be left behind in Los Alamos.
And by May 18th, the results of the investigation will be handed to a federal review board to see what went wrong, and something certainly went wrong here in Los Alamos.
We have lost our home. We've seen it on television. It's toast.
We grew up here. We love this place, and now look at it. It's just hard.
It's home.
It's home, yeah.
Live, local, late breaking. This is Eyewitness News 4 at 10.
The winds led up today. Fire crews at least had a fighting chance.
And that means they are making progress all across the state of New Mexico.
With fires burning on the Los Alamos laboratory properties, we wondered, and everyone wondered, and the nation wondered, what was burning. Was there any danger? Well, today we found out. We got a better look with a rare glimpse inside Los Alamos National Laboratory. This is Tech Area 54, where radioactive waste is stored before it is shipped to the WIP facility. It is untouched.
Our 3 Category 1 facilities are very secure and they're very safe.
Tech Area 55, hidden behind the wall. It is the plutonium facility. It is intact.
Technical Area 55, our plutonium facility, the fire did not come close to it.
Yes, there is damage at the lab. Twisted metal that was an administrative building. There are vehicles that have been charred by the wildfires. But Los Alamos National Lab uncharacteristically cracks its doors open to prove that while the fires have been spectacular, in comparison, the damage has been uneventful. Nearly 30,000 acres have burned. 260 family dwellings are destroyed.
20,000 people evacuated, and among them lots and lots of children. Last week they were living normal lives, going to school, playing sports, having fun with friends. Now they are fleeing from fire, living in shelters, and learning about tragedy at a very young age. What are you drawing?
A monster that's made out of fire.
Made out of fire, huh?
Yeah.
Lots of children don't want to talk about the Cerro Grande fire that has forced them out of their homes and into this Santa Fe shelter, but their drawings say a lot.
We're painting the house in the mountains. It's a rainbow, and it could brighten up a Mother's Day.
While their parents worry about the big picture, these children have other concerns.
I'm scared because my Jobal's at home. I want to go see my bear that sings. When you press a button on his hand, he starts singing Christmas songs.
Little Brian Escabel passes the time with a loner Winnie the Pooh toy. He may only be 4 years old, but he's handling this tragedy as well as any grown-up.
We had to head out, but my dad had to pack for me, and I was just going crazy that night. And I'm thinking it's okay, and I'm hoping the house is not on fire.
It's kind of scary when you think about it, but at least like our house is okay. And like at least all my friends who are losing their houses are alive.
For the first time since the evacuations were ordered in Los Alamos, the weekend would bring hope. Some evacuees outside Los Alamos would learn they could go home.
But for hundreds of others, the weekend would be one of incredible heartache. Next on Burning Memories, the bus ride back home where no homes remain.
The list of homes destroyed is out, and so are the dreams of many people. Thank you for joining us. I'm Monica Armenta on this Saturday, May 13th.
We're just keeping our hopes up until we go back and see for ourselves.
They tell me the smoke and the fire is very close to the remains that are there. The smoke, the fire is all around there.
We are at 5% containment, and as you can see behind me, this fire is still burning. Those plumes of smoke you see there have just popped up within the last few minutes. So firefighters and aircraft will continue their assault today on the Cerro Grande fire. It has consumed 32,000 acres thus far at a cost of more than $1 billion. The question today, will the weather cooperate?
Fires still burning out of control, and they may burn for weeks. This is a live picture from Chopper 4.
Tonight, new information and news for residents whose homes were destroyed. And this question.
Is Los Alamos clear of danger? No.
Tomorrow they will get an up-close, in-person look at those homes by bus. That's right, residents who lost homes to the fire will be allowed to tour areas at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
We watched hundreds of evacuees today pick up their mail, thanks to some dedicated postal workers making it all happen. After 4 days without mail, these Los Alamos evacuees are getting letters, packages, and things they don't want, like bills.
I think it's wonderful. I truly do that they are volunteering to help, because goodness knows it's needed, but it's much appreciated, believe me.
Eileen Allen waited a half hour for her mail. It's all alphabetized in big boxes. But these postal workers on their own time still have to do a lot of sifting.
Thrown randomly, so somebody with a A name comes, we got to go through.
The volunteers handed out 55,000 pieces of mail yesterday and have a lot of moms looking for their Mother's Day gifts. Mother's Day is also on the minds of children inside the shelter at Powake High School, making these cards and sharing lots of love.
A lot of people turning out today to donate food to fire victims and firefighters. They can always use more food, whether for firefighters or needy people.
Live, local, late breaking. This is Eyewitness News 4 Weekend.
New at 10, a Los Alamos woman sees her home for the first time since the fire, and now it's nothing but rubble.
It just looked like a flat cement slab with pipes.
This is what residents are going to see when they return home. Row after row of homes gone. Pictures, family heirlooms, all taken by the Cerro Grande Fire.
I think it's unbelievable. I couldn't really tell the difference between my apartment and my neighbors.
So this is the first time we're seeing it. We actually had a neighbor who came up here, and she told us that it was gone. We knew it was gone anyway. It's very sad for me to see the trees gone. I don't know how many will survive, but we had last day I was here, the day before the fire, there were hummingbirds coming to our hummingbird feeder. That apricot tree was loaded with apricots. It's all gone. It's not just the house, it's the beauty of this whole place. It's the beauty of those mountains that we moved here for, that we hiked in every day.
It was an emotional roller coaster, a bus ride that lasted 4 hours and gave 125 families, now homeless, the closure they wanted and needed. For some families, they were able to get off one of the 5 buses that took them from the National Guard Armory in Santa Fe to the western and northern neighborhoods of Los Alamos, hardest hit by this fire. For some, their reaction was just standing and staring at the piles of rubble that lined their neighborhoods, or what they used to call a neighborhood.
I don't know if I can do with that.
Yes, you can. Yeah, you sure can. We've got to.
We started on the other end of town, which I think was good for us because by the time we got to our house, we were pretty numb.
It was eerie. It was, you know, you could see your house or what was left of it from 3 blocks away.
Going home appears to be the theme for evacuees tonight. Some seeing for the first time what used to be their homes. Others being let back into their homes for good.
A lot of evacuees cheered this afternoon when authorities announced they could go back home, where all of their houses are still standing. The news brought tears to Evelyn Magnuson's eyes. She's lived in White Rock 33 years.
But I'm so glad to be going home.
It was not a traditional Mother's Day with gifts and home-cooked meals, but everybody from firefighters to evacuees did try to honor the day in any way they could.
Hey, guys.
Catherine Nelson lost her home in the Cerro Grande Fire, and on this Mother's Day, she's away from her 3 children.
It's really, really hard not to be with them.
But the general manager of the Los Alamos Holiday Inn is still keeping house for more than 100 National Guardsmen and firefighters who've almost become family.
Dan started out with 1, I started out with 3, and we've got about 150 at this point. And we don't want any of them to go. We want them all to stay here. We're begging them all to stay here with us.
So even on Mother's Day, if you're not with
Even
your
on
kids?
Mother's Day, I'm with all these kids.
Many were displaced, but not alone. This daughter came from Rio Rancho to spend Mother's Day with her mom at a shelter.
She was my hero. And she knew she was okay, but I didn't, and I just need to know she was okay. I just really miss my mom.
With the weekend over, Monday would have marked the beginning of an ordinary work week, but schools were still closed and homes still off limits.
Then, late in the day, word came. Some people, the lucky ones, could reclaim their houses and apartments. Next on Burning Memories, the first steps back home in Los Alamos.
Good morning and welcome. On this Monday, May 15th, White Rock residents go home to their own beds while many in Los Alamos have nothing to cling to but memories.
This is still an empty town full of smoke and the effects of fire.
More than 44,000 acres at this point, 28% contained, and we're told the price tag, $5 billion as firefighters continue to fight the Cerro Grande Bays.
There is, though, good news tonight for some of the people evacuated from Los Alamos on Wednesday.
80% of Los Alamos is now back open.
Word spread quickly to Los Alamos evacuees waiting to go back home.
There are a lot of people's houses that weren't standing, and they've lost everything that they ever had, you know. So we're one of the fortunate ones, and it feels good to be back.
7-year-old Sarah Scott was anxious to return to her Los Alamos home to check on her unicorn blanket and the angel she had to leave behind when she and her family were forced to evacuate 6 days ago.
So I just wanted to take that, but I couldn't, so I'm glad that's here.
It's terrific. I mean, we have a house here. You know, we're so blessed because so many people lost their houses and things.
And we've seen the destruction and the fire consume, and really our hearts go out to people who have lost homes, but there's something that's going to happen here, and it's a story. Nature hates a void, and she's going to put stuff back in here, and in 5 years this mountainside that's black behind us will be a kaleidoscope of color. There'll be a lot of plants springing up, and aspen and grass and brush, and it is a change, but nothing stays the same in nature. It's always changing. This change is a drastic one, and it's not something that we're comfortable with as people, but nature's comfortable with it because she's done it forever.
As we head into the summer, there will be a lot of questions asked about this fire, about what went wrong, and what we can do to keep it from happening again.
In the meantime, there's work to be done, damage to be repaired, lives to be restored, as we as a community continue to work together for tomorrow.
For all of us at Eyewitness News 4, I'm Carla Aragon.
And I'm Tom Joles.